Hey there guys, welcome to this week's episode of Matthew Manning Presents here on Who Addicts Reviews, and in this week's episode I'm continuing my series of reviewing Doctor Who Regeneration episodes with an episode that is actually not on the Regenerations box set, but I have got it here on DVD. Today I'm going to be reviewing the series 4 finale, Stolen Earth and Journey's End. So sit back guys and enjoy. So then, time for me to continue with Stolen Earth and Journey's End, the Series 4 finale, and it's split between the middle really, whether you count this in a Regeneration series. A couple of years ago, many people probably wouldn't have, that's why it wasn't in the official limited edition of the Regeneration series, but I think after the time of the Doctor, it is pretty much confirmed that it is a legitimate Regeneration, therefore I am going to put it in my Regeneration series. When I originally began my series back at the start of February, I didn't actually plan to put this in, but I thought after time I might as well. And I have wanted to review this two-parter for a very long time, for good reasons and for most definitely some very, very bad reasons. So, a few facts out the way about the Series 4 finale. It was written by, of course, Russell T Davies and directed by a man me and James have met, the great Graham Harper, one of the greatest directors in classic and modern Who. And I've got the synopsis for Journey's End here, not Stolen Earth. So the synopsis is follows. All hell has broken loose. Davros and the New Dalek Empire prepare to detonate a bomb that will wipe out all of existence. The 10th Doctor is helpless and the TARDIS faces destruction. The only hope lies with the Doctor's companions, the Children of Time. But Dalek Khan predicts that one will die. So, starting off with Stolen Earth, I think if there's only one word to describe it, I would definitely say nostalgic. I think for modern fans anyway, I put a lot of emphasis on modern. Apparently this two-parter was for the 45th anniversary of Doctor Who. You know, back in the classics they'd celebrate an anniversary special every couple of years, mostly every decade. But yeah, apparently it was for the 45th anniversary back in 2008. And Stolen Earth basically brought the entire universe together, and that's something I really miss now with Moffat as head writer. We have Doctor Who and that is it. You know, back then when Doctor Who wasn't on, we'd have Torchwood to occupy us, and when Torchwood wasn't on, we'd have the Sarah Jane Adventures. There was something for all ages, all people of different ages, and I think it was brilliant because if you preferred a much more older, graphic sort of content, then you'd watch Torchwood. Much more child-friendly, you'd watch the Sarah Jane Adventures, and obviously Doctor Who would combine them both together. And I thought that bringing them all together in this finale was one hell of a nostalgic moment, and it was very easy for Russell to completely, well and truly cock this up. But I thought throughout Stolen Earth, I thought that he got them all together in a very good way. I thought the screen time was balanced very well and very easy for him. Donna, who were kind of lost, and then you had Torchwood, who were reacting to it in their own way, Sarah Jane and Luke reacting to it in their own way, and obviously Rose was kind of like a renegade. You know, she was on her own trying to find the Doctor. I'll get to that, don't you worry. But I thought that the way that they were all introduced was absolutely fantastic, and like I said, screen time was balanced very well. And let me be honest with you. I mean, countless times, me and James, we've both slammed and slammed and slammed on the Daleks and said that their only good story was Dalek. They were great in Stolen Earth. They were absolutely fantastic. I mean, the scene where they're all wondering who the hell are these spaceships, and then you hear exterminate over the con. It's just, all their faces drop, you know. Jack, Torchwood, they're just like we're dead, that's it, we're done. You know, Martha cannot believe it. Rose, you know, she has a massive gulp because she knows what the hell's coming. And then, obviously, later on, Davros as well, but just the Daleks on their own, I thought, was so sinister. And that scene where they blew up the family's house, that's the Daleks at their very, very best. You know, the way that their family ran into the house, threw a brick at the Dalek, and they basically blew the house up, I thought that was powerful and dark. And that's how the Daleks should be. That's how they should be written. And I prefer it when there's a small group of Daleks causing chaos, rather than a massive, large fleet of them doing absolutely fuck all, to be honest. But I thought the Daleks were fantastic, and then they kept Davros from us for a good 30 minutes, and I thought, considering there was a lot of modern, you know, a lot of modern nostalgia with all the modern companions coming back, I thought having a classic icon like Davros in it kind of tipped the balance a little bit, and I thought them keeping him from us was very good until, obviously, he made the revelation later on in the story. I thought that was fantastic. But out of all the companions to come back, James said to me that maybe Rose was brought back for fan service, but I think they all kind of were. You know, I think bringing back Martha, bringing back Captain Jack and all the other companions, Sarah Jane, you had to bring back Rose. You know, on top of all the fangirls who would have burst out into tears. Where's Rose? Rose is the best. Where is she? You know, the outpour of Rose fangirls would have been disastrous if she hadn't made an appearance. So I thought it was fair. I mean, let's be honest, it was fair that Rose came back. And of course, she played a huge part in Turn Left, which was, wow, what an episode that was. So it was pretty obvious that she was going to come back, hence the Turn Left cliffhanger when Donna told the Doctor that a blonde girl had whispered in her ear, "Bad wolf." But Rose, let's go through the motives, okay? I know Rose was the only one that technically returned, but Martha, she was working for UNIT, of course, saving the world, working for UNIT. Jack, working for Torchwood. Even Jackie and Mickey turned up with two massive guns, particle guns or whatever they were, destroying Daleks. Sarah Jane, of course, she was helping defend the Earth. What was Rose doing? Yeah. Her entire motive was not, it might have been partly, like ever so slightly, was to come back and help save the Earth, because of course there was planets in the sky, the darkness was coming, etc. But her main motive was to meet the Doctor again. Give me a flipping break. What? I mean, really? Out of all the things, yes, she came back and defended the Earth, so what, but oh my god, she came back and I thought she was brilliant in Turn Left, but as soon as she came into contact with other companions, I was reminded, and we were all reminded, of what a jealous, whiny little bitch that Rose is. Like I said last week, as soon as she seen Martha, you know when they were all on that, like all on the screen and they were all talking and they finally found the Doctor, Rose was like, you know, she was stopping Martha popped up and she said, "Oh, I was here first. I was trying to find the Doctor, so was I." And all this, it was just, what a freaking child. What a freaking child. You know, all these great companions are up on the screen, and then you've just got Rose just sat there saying, "Oh, well, I was here first. The Doctor knew me before all of you." Once again, she's just such a stroppy little girl, and I cannot freaking stand her. She was tolerable up until that moment. I was actually well into her character, thinking, get in, Roses came back. There was actually a bit of nostalgia there, until she noticed that the Doctor had moved on. She became like that jealous ex-girlfriend who won't leave you alone. Oh my god. What a whiny little stroppy bitch. I freaking hated her. Rose rant. But apart from that, I thought that the whole, I forgot what it was called now, but basically when they all came together, the thing that Harriet Jones created, I forgot what it was called now, but the network or whatever it was that they made, I thought that was great, and I thought the way that they fought to meet the Doctor again was brilliant, and Harriet Jones coming back was, out of all of the companions, I think, of all the characters, was the most unpredictable, and the way she sacrificed her life was heroic, fantastic. You know, at first, Harriet Jones, you know, at first well, not at first, she was alright in Series 1, but then in Christmas Invasion she became a bit of a selfish bitch, the way that she destroyed the Sycorax, but I thought her character development came full circle and ended brilliantly, the way that she basically said, "My life doesn't matter, none of it saves the Earth." I thought that was lovely, and I was quite sad to see Harriet Jones sacrifice her life, and once again showed how merciless and epic the Daleks were at that point. And then the Dr. Davros confrontation, which was brilliant. I mean, I'm not a fan of how the 10th Doctor confronted the Daleks for the first time in in Army of Ghosts. I thought he was cocky, and following the way the Ninth Doctor reacted, I just thought that's a bit of a letdown. But yeah, the 10th Doctor reacting to Davros, I thought was fantastic. It was such a long-awaited confrontation. I thought that was fantastic. Leading on to the ending of Stolen Earth, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is where the entire finale went downhill. My favourite character. Now, out of all the characters in this finale, you've got the 10th Doctor, wow. You've got Donna Noble, the awesome Captain Jack Harkness, the amazing Martha Jones, the bitchy Rose Tyler, the amazing Mickey Smith. My favourite character in this entire story was the Dalek at the end of Stolen Earth. Give that Dalek a medal. There's Rose and the Doctor turning around. Oh, the Rose fangirls, the Doctor 10 and Rose fangirls must have been wetting themselves at this point, thinking, finally, the love story is going to continue, they're going to reunite, and they were running together. You know, honestly, I could just imagine little rose petals in the background and some kind of cheesy music, and they were running towards each other. Oh, lovely reunion. And thank God the Dalek just exterminated the 10th Doctor. The only time you'll ever hear me say, I'm glad that Dalek exterminated the Doctor. I mean, of course, I would prefer that Dalek to exterminate Rose, but nevertheless, that Dalek got in the way of one of the most cringiest, lovey, awful moments. And wait, just take a second. Take a second. I mean, I know that Dalek got killed moments later, but give that Dalek a medal. What a guy. What a Dalek. I applaud you, Dalek. Give you a medal. And then it led to the regeneration, which, I'll be honest, I can remember the exact moment, exactly where I was stood, exactly what I was doing that moment, and we all knew that David Tennant was going to leave as the Doctor, but my God, him regenerating there and then, I got the shock of my goddamn life. I mean, I was probably not the only one who actually thought to myself, is this actually it? I mean, of course, a lot of people have thought, they've not introduced a new Doctor yet, they're going to find a way around it. There's always that little voice in the back of your head thinking, what if? Is this actually it? And it led on to possibly the longest week of my life. So if I was to give Stolen Earth a rating, as I did last week, I'll give them both separate ratings. I'll give Stolen Earth a 9 out of 10. And this is where the ranting begins, guys. Journey's End. And there's not much to really talk about with Journey's End. It was kind of following on from Stolen Earth and a lot of things that happened that weren't really worth discussing. But beginning with the Meta-Crisis Doctor, I thought that made very good sense, actually. I thought the way that the 10th Doctor regenerated into his hand, and then Donna basically, the hand, what did it do, grow into her or something like that? It created the Meta-Crisis Doctor. That worked for me. I thought that was great, and I thought the Meta-Crisis Doctor at first was brilliant, and his relationship with Donna was great, and it made perfect sense. And there were a few Dave the Doctor references in there, what I picked up as well. The way that Dalek Khan said that he saw the Doctor and Rose in the Time War when he went back, that kind of harkens to 10th Doctor and the Moment's Conscience, maybe, possibly. And I know this is a complete nitpick, but yeah, Dalek Khan did say no more. That just got me a little bit. But the Daleks basically went downhill incredibly. They'd been brilliant, absolutely flawless in Stolen Earth, but their motives became good old cliched recycled Daleks. You know, they go from looking sinister to then just going back to the, yeah, we just want to kind of take over the universe like we did before, and the time before that, and the time before that, and actually the time before that as well. In fact, yeah, all the Daleks want to do is just take over the universe. That's not been done before. So it just made them seem redundant. And even though Davros and the Supreme Dalek, and it was all like, oh my God, the biggest Dalek Empire, the Doctor was like, it's the biggest Dalek Empire at the height of its power, blah, blah, blah. No, really, I didn't buy that at all. They were not. I mean, up until Journey's End, yeah, they were fine. And it got worse for them. It really freaking did. Yeah, the ending. The ending. The ending! Oh my God, the ending. Basically, you all know how it happened. I'm not going to say spoiler alert. You should all know what happened. Dr. Donna appeared on the ship, and she basically said a few long words. I don't know where the hell Russell made them words up from. She flicked a few buttons and destroyed the most powerful Dalek fleet at the height of its power, like that. I mean, first of all, what the freaking hell was Donna doing? I mean, James said this, and I'm going to rant further. She was acting like the 10th Doctor. I mean, I mean, the 11th Doctor in Nightmare in Silver saying Alonzi, that tipped me over the edge, and I thought, what the freaking hell's he doing? But Donna saying, oh yes, oh my god, it made me cringe. I honestly, I turned the DVD off. I mean, I love the ending where they're all in the TARDIS and it's like, oh, brilliant, reuniting, well done, they've saved the world. I didn't even watch that. I turned it off when she started making the Daleks spin round. I mean, the Daleks were spinning round, screaming, help me. What? Why? Russell, why? You built them up to be exactly what they... I mean, they had a little bit of a twitch throughout Series 3. They'd never go back to being how good they were in Dalek. But they were actually doing well. I can't believe I'm actually saying, oh my god, the Daleks were doing well. They should do well on their own. Oh, for God's sake, just the way that they were spinning round, saying help me, and that they couldn't fire. For starters, right, why on this freaking planet would the Daleks have a panel in their own ship that can destroy them? What were the manufacturers of that ship thinking? Oh, we've got Davros, creator of the Daleks, in this ship. Not only that, Dalek Khan and the Supreme Dalek in this ship. We need to make this ship as highly defensive as possible. I know what we'll do. We'll put a panel in the middle of the ship, what can basically, after flicking a few buttons, can destroy us. Yeah. That's basically it. What, Russell? What the hell? What were you thinking? Oh my god, I'm actually getting angry. This is close to the Wedding of River Song angry right here. And I never thought I'd say that, but this has tipped me so close to the Wedding of River Song. Nothing's as bad as the Wedding of River Song. But this, the ending, was just freaking awful. I mean, I'd love to praise the companions being together and then towing the Earth home and a nice little goodbye at the end. And then, of course, at the end, Donna forgetting about the Doctor. That was sad. That was very harsh on her, and it was one of the most saddest departures of a companion. After all that, forgetting it all like that, it's so sad, so terrible. But all of that was overshadowed and made redundant by the ending. I mean, it made the Dr. Donna seem completely redundant. It humiliated the hell out of the Daleks, and all of Series 4, which is my favourite modern series, by the way, which was flawless pretty much. Flawless up until that, was completely made redundant. Exactly like the Wedding of River Song and what that did to Series 6, Journey's End did to Series 4. Honestly, I'm gonna conclude. I don't think I've got anything left in my notes because I think I've pretty much ranted the fact that that ending completely ruined every single thing about Series 4 and it was completely cringy and pathetic and horrid and disastrous. Let's just conclude because I'm getting kind of mad. Journey's End I would rate about a 7 out of 10. That's being generous, by the way. So, concluding with the Series 4 finale. The Series 4 finale was a very nostalgic moment for all modern fans, I say modern, with a great premise and setting, with the Daleks returning with their creator Davros, and it was built up for a near flawless Series 4, and it was set up to be one of the biggest series finales of the modern era. But Russell had bitten off more than he could chew. Stolen Earth was a fantastic build-up, introducing all the characters perfectly with fantastic acting, amazing direction, and possibly one of the best pieces of soundtrack in the entire of Modern Who, capped with the most shocking regeneration that left me gasping for more, which led to the most longest week of my life. But as soon as Journey's End hit, the Daleks, who were back to their best, once again became cliched, and their motives were recycled. Despite Davros's return, I still failed to take the Daleks seriously with the horrific, cop-out, cringe-worthy ending, not only humiliating the Daleks, not only making the Dr. Donna embarrassing, but also making the entire of Series 4 redundant, letting it all down. And like I said, despite the ending with all the companions, it was one of the most beautiful moments, I must admit. It was overshadowed by the horrific ending that was so bad I switched it off while watching it. I mean, Donna acting like the Doctor, how incredibly freaking cringy. I mean, even the Metacrisis Doctor left a lot to be desired in the end. Overall, this finale was very nostalgic, and it got off to a perfect start, but it was destroyed by an unforgiving ending. Being incredibly generous, I'm going to give the overall finale an 8 out of 10, but that is only because of Stolen Earth. Honestly, Stolen Earth is holding up this finale by a thread, because Journey's End practically ruined it. honestly, Stolen Earth was brilliant. And if Stolen Earth was bad as well, this would have probably been down there with the likes of freaking Time and the Rani or something. But my God, thank goodness for Stolen Earth. Otherwise, this would have got a lot. I mean, actually no. You know what? Screw it. Get rid of 8 out of 10. I'm giving this finale a 7.5 out of 10 because honestly, just ranting about Journey's End has pissed me off. So before I start blowing my top, let's just answer some comments from a much more happier Regeneration review, which was last week's review of the Series 1 finale, Bad Wolf and Parting of the Ways. If you don't mind, I'm going for a drink. Actually, one more thing. Yeah, I switched the DVD off before this, but yeah, all the companions had good goodbyes until Rose. Yeah, forgot to mention this actually. Rose was such a whiny little dog that she wouldn't even settle for a Metacrisis duplicate of the 10th Doctor. Yeah, I forgot about this, and I really wanted to rant about it as well, so yeah, pardon me, but for God's sake, the 10th Doctor, because she can't have him, he offers her basically an exact replica, and she won't even do that. The Doctor's still you, and I'm him. Oh my fucking God. And then the kiss at the end, fucking pathetic. I just had to get that out of the way. What a fucking horrible ending. Rose, you're a bitch. I hate you so much. Go and shag the Doctor's legs somewhere else. Just had to get it off my chest. My first comment is from Lick Lego, who says, great review, loved your points, thank you very much. I've done a review of the Aztecs. If you could tell me what you think, well, just drop me a link to that review in the comments below. And yeah, I'll give that a watch. I've also myself got the Aztecs special edition. With all the stuff we've got planned on the channel in the future leading up to Series 8 and everything, I don't know if I'll have a chance to review my classics on a Friday, but if I do ever get the chance to, I will definitely review the Aztecs and we can compare opinions. Chimmy Chew said, fantastic review, Matthew, I agree with all your points. Also, this is random, but what's the John Hurt joke thing in the Hangouts? I find myself cracking up at it, but I don't understand, lol, with a love heart. Basically, because John Hurt in the 50th, because he basically, when he was near a Dalek, he basically blew them to smithereens with the TARDIS, so yeah, for some reason every time something goes wrong on the channel, if it's my internet, James's internet, someone else's internet, we just blame John Hurt and say that, you know, because the thing with John Hurt is that he's just so overpowered, you know, he literally jumped in his TARDIS in the 50th and just burst through a wall and knocked loads of Daleks over. So yeah, we always make a joke when something goes wrong, we just say John Hurt sneezed or something. John Hurt sneezed and blew up my internet, John Hurt coughed and destroyed James's computer, I don't know. It's really random, it's a crazy joke, but yeah, it's hilarious. Parachute Walker asks, I agree with you that Rose Tyler is a complete and utter whiny bitch in this story, although I do think Billie Piper always gives a great performance. What is your opinion on Billie as an actress? People can get confused and think because I'm not a fan of Rose Tyler, I'm not a fan of Billie Piper. I love Billie Piper, I think she's a brilliant actress. I thought she was absolutely fantastic in Secret Diary of a Call Girl. No, but seriously, she is a fantastic actress, and it's just the character of Rose. At times, just let me down. I mean, I don't fully out hate Rose to the point where every single time I watch her, I just think, oh my God, you know, put a gun to my head and blow my brains out. Throughout Series 1, she was brilliant. I prefer Rose in Series 1. I thought she's up there with some of the best companions throughout Series 1. But yeah, at the end of Parting of the Ways, when the Doctor sent her home, you know, she was determined to get back, which is, you know, admirable. But the way that she was kind of moaning about having a normal life, and that, you know, she kind of put herself above everyone else, as to say, oh, I've travelled with the Doctor, which means I cannot have a normal life like everyone else. And she was kicking and stropping. It seemed a bit of a whiny thing. And yeah, in Series 2, she wasn't bad, but her love story with the 10th Doctor is just horrid. But yeah, Billie as an actress, fantastic, but Rose at times could be just one hell of a bitch. Yet another Doctor Who fan says, great review, this is easily one of RTD's finest episodes. Everything was so evenly balanced and you got a hint of every genre in this episode. But Nine's last words I have to disagree with, saying Rose was fantastic, really, okay. I must admit she was better as a friend than a lover, couldn't agree more. She was horrendous in Series 2, couldn't agree more. My question to you is, do you think that this two-parter were best as a Regeneration story, a series finale, or a Dalek story? Thanks, can't wait till the end of time review. What a pile of shit that was. It's a very interesting opinion. I think
Out of a Regeneration, a series finale, and a Dalek story, I've got to say the series 1 finale was best as a Dalek story. Definitely, I think best as a Dalek story. It wasn't a bad Regeneration story. Just the Regeneration. I mean, it didn't feel like a Regeneration story up until the very, very end. Like, what, 5 to 10 minutes away from the actual ending. There was no foreshadowing the Doctor's death, and I think we get the Doctor's death foreshadowed too freaking much. You know, over 1 year before the 10th Doctor regenerated, your song is ending soon, and pretty much as soon as Matt walked out the TARDIS, it was Silence Will Fall. So as soon as Capaldi walks out of the TARDIS, what's someone going to walk past and say, "You're going to die soon"? I mean, it was a bit different. It was a nice difference, and I'd like Capaldi's regeneration to not be foreshadowed. But yeah, it wasn't a bad Regeneration story. It was a decent series finale, but definitely it was, out of all of them, it would definitely be a Dalek story, because the Daleks were just phenomenal in the series 1 finale. My final comment is from Riperia8598. Hope I got that name right. Awesome review, man, and I have a thought of what happened after the War Doctor regenerated. After the regeneration, he forgot all about the 10th and 11th Doctor, and he really thought that he had destroyed the Time Lords. He has an emotional breakdown and hits the TARDIS console, marketing it to change into the choral theme. It cuts back to the 11th, with a knowing look in his eyes, like saying, "I know, good luck. That's all I got, keep up the good work." Thank you very much, my friend, and I think... I don't know what the hell would happen. I think after the War Doctor regenerated, like I said, he wouldn't have had time to look at himself in the mirror because he didn't notice his ears until Rose, and you can't miss them ears. So I think I mean, I wouldn't say he had an emotional breakdown as such. I think as soon as he regenerates and, you know, boom, he's the 9th Doctor, I think he'd have forgot like that. And he'd probably be a bit like, where the hell am I? A bit shaky, like amnesia, what the hell's happened, like the Doctor normally gets after regeneration. So he might have completely forgot who he was, to be honest. So I don't know if he'd have an emotional breakdown as much, because if he was to have forgotten if he'd have forgotten the 10th and 11th Doctor, he'd have probably forgotten about the Time War as a whole for a bit as well. So I think he'd have been a bit loopy at first and a bit like, what the hell's going on? I need to change my costume. What the hell am I wearing? But I might keep the leather jacket. And then maybe afterwards, after he's settled down, then it'll start coming back to him what he did in the Time War, and then he might go on a few binge adventures, really, to just kind of, you know, pass the time and get over it, because he wasn't exactly the most guilty and depressed and emotionally breaking down Doctor in Rose. He was fun and upbeat. So I think there was a lot of time between the War Doctor regeneration and Rose. So I think, if I was to definitely say what I thought's happened, I think he would have lost his memory, forgotten about everything, and then once he'd got into his new costume and settled down, I think he'll have noticed what he'd done in the Time War. He'd have thought that he'd have killed his own kind, and then I believe he'd have went on a few binge adventures to kind of forget about it, and then in time he'd have gradually not became okay with it, but he'll have kind of got over it, I guess. That's just my opinion. So then, guys, thank you for watching this week's video. As always, don't forget to drop a like on this video, subscribe to our channel, and comment below your thoughts and opinions on the Series 4 finale. Give me your own little mini review and your rating out of 10 in the comments below, and I will read them out at the end of next week's video, which is going to be my final Regeneration review of the series, and that's going to be a review of the End of Time Parts 1 and 2. The reason why I'm not going to review The Time of the Doctor is because we did that recently on the channel, and the only reason I'm actually re-reviewing The End of Time is because my opinions have changed on it slightly. So leave me a comment below what your thoughts are on the Series 4 finale. I'll answer them next week, and until next Wednesday, guys, I'll see you for the 12 Doctors Countdown at number 2. Have a good weekend.